You know the place is doing you good.
I know this house is haunted.
And really, dear, I don't care to renovate the house just for a 3 months rental.
There is something queer about it.
Your exercise depends on your strength, my dear.
My husband is a physician and practical in the extreme.
And your food somewhat on your appetite.
He says there is nothing really wrong with me, but temporary nervous depression and a slight hysterical tendency.
But air you can absorb all the time.
The house really is a most beautiful place. I don't like our room a bit. It is a big, airy room, with windows that look all ways and air and sunshine galore. It was a nursery first, and then playroom and gymnasium, I should judge, for the windows are barred for little children, and there are rings and things in the walls. The paint and paper look as if a boy's school had used it. I never saw a worse paper in my life. The color is repellent, almost revolting, a smoldering, unclean yellow. It is a dull yet lurid orange in some places, a sickly sulfur tint in others. No wonder the children hated it. I should hate it myself if I had to live in this room long. John is away all day, and even some nights when his cases are serious. I am glad my case is not serious. But these nervous troubles are dreadfully depressing. I'm really getting quite fond of the big room. All but that horrid paper. This paper looks to me as if it knew what a vicious influence it had. I am alone a good deal just now. John is kept in town very often by serious cases, so I walk a little in the garden or down that lovely lane and lie down up here a good deal. I'm getting really fond of the room in spite of the wallpaper. Perhaps because of the wallpaper. I will follow that pointless pattern to some sort of a conclusion. I know a little of the principle of design, and I know this thing was not arranged on any laws of radiation or alternation or repetition or symmetry or anything else that I ever heard of. Of course, I never mention it to John, but I keep watch of it all the same. Behind that outside pattern, the dim shapes get clearer every day, and it is like a woman stooping down and creeping about behind that pattern. I don't like it a bit. I wish John would take me away from here. By daylight, she is subdued, quiet. I fancy it is the pattern that keeps her so still. Sometimes I think there are a great many women behind, and sometimes only one, and she crawls around fast and her crawling shakes it all over. I think that woman gets out in the daytime. I've seen her. I can see her out of every one of my windows. It must be very humiliating to be caught creeping by daylight. I always lock the door when I creep by daylight. This is the last day, but it is enough. John is to stay in town tonight and won't be out until this evening. There is John, home.
Why is the door locked, my dear? Are you well?
John, dear, the key is down by the front steps, under a plantain leaf.
What is the matter? What are you doing?
I've got out at last, in spite of you, and I've pulled off most of the paper, so you can't put me back.